Okay, the Takuma RS wing. This is the 5.1, and I've taken quite a while before releasing this video because I wanted to really get to know it. Everybody that I've heard speaking about this wing says that it takes time to get used to, and that it grows on you. So I've had it for a few months now. I've used it, I don't know, certainly over 10 times. And I absolutely love it. I have so many good things to say about this wing. First of all, build quality, it seems to be really well made. All the stitching seems absolutely first rate. All the materials seem really good. The reinforcements, where they are, it's all, I'm not going to say too much more about it other than the build quality seems to be very good. The canopy itself it's not taut like the duotone D-Lab until you use it. Once there's wind in it, it just appears or performs even more taut than the D-Lab. It's crazy, but once it's filled with air, there is no flapping at all from any part of it. And I think that helps with the power, the smooth power delivery, and the stability. They really have designed the shape and every aspect of it really, really well. The valves. Now the valves are really good. I had a bit of a surprise when I first unwrapped the RS when I first got it, and I was like, what the hell are these valves? I'd never come across them before, but a few people told me that they're quite common in certain brands. They're well tried and tested, and yeah, I think they work really, really well. The only problem with them is that if you've got a beach where there's a lot of sand blowing around, you've got to be so careful that they're covered, because they're just big open holes and sand will blow in them. So just be really careful to make sure that they're covered. Obviously, you can't put the cap back on them if you want to deflate them. So that's the issue that I have with this style of valve. And as long as you're aware of it, you can take precautions to prevent that from happening, then it shouldn't be an issue. The leading edge handle is really, really good. It's nice and chunky, but not oversized. It's very rigid. It doesn't bend or wobble, so that when you are holding the leading edge handle and you move the wing from side to side or twist it, it does what you want it to do. And with even with the duotone front handle, it's the leading edge handle, it's really super thin, and it just, as you twist it, you don't get any torsion on the actual wing itself. The handle twists rather than you twisting the wing. But this leading edge handle is absolutely superb, and there's a nice bit of neoprene behind the handle to prevent any sort of scraping against your knuckles. The handles, the carbon handles, are superb. That front handle, the angle of it, oh, it's just so good in so many different ways. And you'll see throughout this video the amount of times that I just rotate the wing around that handle. It just makes it so easy and so smooth to do, changing hands over, and there's a nice lot of space. Holding the front of it or the back of it, it just perfectly balanced no matter what you want to do. And I've found, especially on lighter wind days, I've actually found that I much prefer holding the handle for luffing when I'm downwinding than the actual leading edge handle, because you can hold it right above your head like I'm doing now, which makes it much less likely for the wing to fall down, drop down in front of you when you're heading dead downwind or carving left to right through that pure downwind window. When that dangerous time is that if you're not holding the wing high enough, then it does just drop down. In fact, I've got a little bit of a video clip which I'll stop this and show you right now. Hang on. Okay, so here I am holding the leading edge handle. I'm keeping it high so it's okay here. But this next one, I pull it around in front of me as I carve around. And it just drops straight down. And that's because I wasn't holding the wing high enough as you go through that downwind section. But here I am now holding the front carbon handle. And it's so much easier to keep the wing high enough so that when you're carving through from left to right, and obviously you're going through that downwind zone, every time it's so much easier when you hold the handle to keep it high above your head, and then you don't have the danger of it dropping down in front of you. That's one of the big bonuses as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so carrying on, the two handles are absolutely perfectly positioned. There's no two ways about that. I do wish that the rear handle was, say, an inch further out from the center strut, but I'm guessing that they've done that on purpose so that the angle between the front and rear carbon handles are at the right space, or the right angle. It's not too much of a problem, and it would have been lovely to have a connecting handle between the two, so you can literally just hold it one-handed, like the mini booms, but you can't have everything. Now, something that's really interesting about the design on the RS is the trailing edge. They've put roughly an 8 or a 9-inch strip of x-ply, which obviously has non-stretch properties. And their idea is that it's the trailing edge that stretches the most. Therefore, if they prevent that trailing edge from stretching, then it's going to improve the longevity of the wing. Now, I've heard some people criticise that already, saying that that junction, or the where the normal canopy material meets the x-ply at the trailing edge, different levels of stretch or rigidity means that it's going to cause problems. So far, I've been keeping an eye on it, and I've not seen any signs of problems. But it's something to look out for. And also, will the normal canopy material bag out, and will that negate the trailing edge being x-ply? Time will tell. I've only used it, like I say, slightly in excess of 10 times, but these wings usually go for about anywhere between 50 and 100 uses before they become noticeably stretched to the point where performance is deteriorated. So another feature in the RS are the wingtip battens, and they really do work very, very well indeed. They maintain the shape of the leading edge as it curves around. I've never once noticed that the wingtips are pulling in, no matter how hard I pump the wing. They're not too much of a hassle to take in and out, and I know some people prefer to leave them in when they roll up their wing, but I just can't get my head around it at all. And also, I'm just a little bit worried that it might damage something if I pull on the wing while the wingtips are in place. So I take them out every single time, and it really doesn't take any time at all. I think it probably takes me the same amount of time to take them out and put them in than it would to figure out how to roll the damn thing up and get it in the bag while those battens are in place. It's a bit of a head doer, but maybe that's just me being thick. What else can I say about this wing? Its power is phenomenal. For a 5.1 metre, I feel it's got more power than most 5.5s I've used. So I was really blown away by how much power you can generate when pumping, which is great, because not only can it help when getting up when you're slightly underpowered, but also it means you can just use a smaller wing, or at least use this wing in lighter, lower wind conditions than I'm used to. So I'm using the 5 metre in 12 knots plus, whereas before with previous 5 meters I've always had to wait for at least 14 knots, averaging 15 would be better. But yeah, 12 to 14, absolutely no problem. 5.1 RS seems to have a lot of power, and stability with it The design itself, I believe, was a collaboration between a wingfoil designer and a windsurf sail designer, and as such it's got quite a windsurfy type feel. If you've ever windsurfed, you'll know what it's like when you're hooked into the harness line, you're leaning back against the power of the wind in the sail, and it's that locked-in feeling that you do get a little bit. For somebody who's windsurfed in the past many years ago, I can get those vibes. I mean, it's still wingfoiling, absolutely 100%. First and foremost, it's still wingfoiling, but yeah, you just get that little bit of extra stability with the RS that you don't get from other wings. It absorbs gusts really nicely, and it doesn't pull your arms out by the end of a session. It doesn't feel like your arms and your shoulders are completely done in. It's got a very smooth power delivery, but very efficient with it. It handles gusts, I think, better than any other wing that I've used as well. When I first started using it, I was a little bit worried because finding the balance point took a few sessions. Finding where to hold it in relation to my body, the angles, where to hold the handles in each situation, but it didn't take more than a few sessions, and I was literally, from that point, just everything became easy. It's really easy to to spill power, and it still doesn't, the canopy still doesn't flap around. You can hold it high, you can hold it in front of you, behind you, you can bring it right down to close to the water, and in all those positions it feels really stable and comfortable. So stability for riding upwind at all times, absolutely superb. Power handling, really good low end and high end. For luffing, I rate it really highly. Really stable. The leading edge handle is quite low down on the leading edge itself, and I think the reason why they've done that is when you hold it, it angles the whole wing up a little bit, and therefore it catches more air flowing underneath it, and therefore it just floats so nicely. I think that's pretty much it, really. Very easy to use to use a harness. If you don't like using a harness, then it's not going to pull your arms out by the end of the session. Very powerful for its size. Very stable when riding upwind and when luffing. Personally, I like using the front carbon handle for when I'm downwinding, and the leading edge handle when I'm riding waves. But that's not 100% all the time. I mean, chop and change as to what you prefer. They're both very well placed handles that can be used very effectively. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. If you've got any questions, just post a message and I will do my best to get back to you. Okay, that's all from me for now.